Sky-High Thomas. It was the day of the winter of the spring holiday on Sodor. The Duke and Duchess were having a grand party at their summer house. All the engines were very excited. And they were all getting ready. He was to have a special for the summer house. Cranky the Crane was working very hard at Brendam Docks. Thomas steamed into Brendam. He was very excited. Henry and James were just passing through. "Good morning, James. Good morning, Henry," chuffed Thomas as he steamed through. "Hello, Thomas," chuffed James. "Good morning," huffed Henry. Thomas was quick to ask Henry and James 2 questions. "Are the 2 of you going to the spring holiday party at the Duke and Duchess summer house? And what are your specials?" James spoke up first. "My special is to take eggs and spoons for the egg and spoon race," huffed James grandly. "My special," said Henry, "is to take wheelbarrows for the wheelbarrow roll race." "Thomas, what's your special?" chuffed Henry and James both together. "Wah, wah, wah," tooted Thomas. "My special is to take hay for hay bales," chuffed Thomas. "Wah, wah." When Thomas heard James and Henry's specials, he felt quite disappointed that he didn't get a big job like they had. The guard blew his whistle. It was time for James and Henry to depart. Cranky croaked and Cranky creaked. His load was shaking on his hook. "Ha!" chuffed Thomas. "You are creaky, Cranky." Cranky was cross. "And you are tiny, Thomas. That's why James and Henry get the bigger loads. They are big and strong engines, and big and strong engines get big loads. You are only taking tiny little hay bales." "Hay bales aren't tiny," chuffed Thomas. "You're just jealous of my awesome work. You're upset because you can't go to any parties." Now Cranky was very cross. "You're just upset because I'm stronger than you, Thomas," said Cranky. Now Thomas was upset. Salty shunted the hay bale truck up behind Thomas. "I will show you who's strongest," said Cranky. So, instead of Thomas going to take his hay bales to the summer house party, "I must find James and Henry and bring their loads back to the docks," he decided. So Thomas left his load at the docks just as Cranky dropped his. "Hopping hooks," called Cranky. Thomas raced up a hill and traveled down Earthside. "Must find Henry and James," he puffed. James was at the washdown. He was getting a nice scrub and hose. Thomas pulled up alongside. "Hello, James," he puffed as he turned on the turntable. Why aren't you at the summer house?" "I need a wash," chuffed James. "My paint is very dirty. It's all mucked up." "I'll take your load for you, James," chuffed Thomas. He was being very cheeky. James was very pleased. "Thank you, Thomas." Thomas knew his plans were working. Buffered up to the truck. He steamed proudly away. "I must race like the wind back to Cranky," and he did so. Thomas brought James's load to the docks. You again, said Cranky. What are you doing here? I've brought James's load. You can't lift it, Cranky, chuffed Thomas. Cranky lowered his crane arm as low as ever, and he began to lift the truck high up into the sky. Thomas was amazed. Thomas was so amazed that he puffed forward to Cranky. See, said Cranky. Told ya, I can lift anything. I'm Cranky the Crane, for goodness sakes. Thomas was very surprised. I must get Henry's load, chuffed Thomas. I'll be back, Cranky, said Thomas, and he steamed away. Leave James's load there. I'm getting Henry's. What is that tank engine playing at? Said Cranky. Thomas raced like the wind around Sodor to find Henry. Thomas raced across the Sodor suspension bridge and headed towards a junction. There was Henry. Hello, Henry, chuffed Thomas. Can I take your load to the summer house for you? Of course, Thomas, chuffed Henry. Henry was pleased. He didn't ask Thomas any questions. He just went along with Thomas's idea. Thomas headed across the suspension bridge and down along the rails. Thomas raced into the docks. I've got Henry's load, he chuffed. And I bet you can't lift this one, Cranky. Henry's the strongest of all engines of Sodor. Cranky was just lowering James's truck. If I can lift James, then I can lift Henry too, he added. Salty moved Thomas's trucks and James's trucks out of the way. Thomas watched as Cranky quickly lifted Henry's load high into the air. Told ya, laughed Cranky. I am the greatest at lifting things. Bother, chuffed Thomas. He had one last idea. Why don't you lift me, Cranky? I'm up to the challenge, he said. Cranky the Crane lifted Thomas high into the sky. Thomas was very surprised. Bust my buffers, Cranky the Crane is lifting me. Then there was trouble. Cranky croaked and creaked, and then something cracked. Oh, cried Cranky. Help! Wailed Thomas the Tank Engine. The dockyard manager phoned for the Fat Controller. The Fat Controller was very Thomas, he boomed. Why is Cranky the Crane lifting you? And Cranky, why do you have Thomas dangling high in the air? Cranky the Crane is broken, sir, said Thomas. So the workmen hurried up to Cranky. They had Cranky repaired in a nutshell. After Thomas had apologized to Cranky the Crane, he raced off to the party. Thomas arrived at the summer house. James and Henry heard all about Thomas and his war with Cranky. Thomas apologized to James and Henry. The summer house party was a huge success. Thomas raced back to Cranky. Cranky, said Thomas, you're not creaky. And Thomas said, Cranky, you aren't tiny. Thomas and Cranky were once again good friends.